Hello, Dylan Wiliam here, and I'm here to tell you why I think the MACS Vision for Instruction is such an important document. Over the last 50 years, we've made enormous improvements in making education more inclusive. We've made sure that girls can be successful at mathematics in just the same way that boys are. We've looked to ensure that students who have English as a second or a third language are just as successful. We've worked to make sure that students from less advantaged homes do as well as students from more privileged backgrounds. But there's one respect in which we haven't made that much progress, and that is in terms of pedagogy. When I started teaching in the 1970s, I taught mathematics in particular using a problem-solving approach because it seemed to me to be interesting and engaging, and it was also the way that I like to learn. And it took me a long time to realize that actually that was part of the problem, because that approach worked for students like me who thought like I did, students with lots of working memory, but it was less successful for other students. And over the years, we've come to realize that some teaching can be effective for some students, but the best teaching is effective for all students. Robert Pianta and his colleagues at the University of Virginia have shown that about 25% of students just get reading, no matter how bad their reading teaching is. John Sweller has shown that problem-solving approaches can be very effective for students with relatively high achievement, but for lower achieving students, a step-by-step explicit approach is essential. So that's why I think it's so important that the MACS Vision for Instruction is based on this idea of explicit instruction. If we want students to be successful, we teach them the things we need them to learn. And so the starting point here is being absolutely explicit about what we want to learn, and then, of course, finding out if they've learned it or not through regular formative assessment. The fact is that good teaching starts from where the students are, not where we'd like them to be, and the only way to find out where they are is to assess. Assessment is the bridge between teaching and learning. It is only by assessing that we'll figure out whether what we've just done as teachers has been effective. But then, we also need to make sure that students don't fail. I think that's why multi-tiered systems of support are really important. But I think the really important thing about multi-tiered systems of support is to make Tier 1 as effective as possible. Too often, we actually don't pay much attention to Tier 1 and hope that we'll catch the students in Tier 2 or Tier 3. And what I'm saying is that's a bit like having, rather than a fence at the top of a cliff, an ambulance at the bottom. So that's why I'm so happy to endorse the MACS Vision for Instruction. It's the most coherent vision of how we can ensure educational success for the largest number of our students. And I hope it'll help guide you in your practice over the coming years.